I used to believe aging meant giving things up. Smaller goals, less strength, slower thinking, like each birthday took another piece away. But here's the truth I discovered. Those beliefs weren't facts, they were myths. And the moment I challenged them, I started to feel younger, stronger, and more alive than I had in years. Today, I want to share 5 of the most stubborn myths about aging that hold people back, and I'll show you why it's time to stop believing them. Stay with me, because as we bust each myth together, I'll also share one simple shift you can start making today. These aren't theories locked away in a textbook. They are practical changes that gave me more focus, more energy, and more joy in my own life. And I promise, they can do the same for you. I'll admit it. I've misplaced my keys or forgotten where I left my glasses more times than I care to count. But here's the thing. Those little lapses aren't dementia, and dementia isn't some automatic ticket we're handed the moment we hit our 60s. Yes, our brains may process information a little slower as we age, but sharp thinking and strong memory are absolutely possible well into our 80s and 90s. When I finally dug into the research, I found out the National Institute on Aging says dementia is not a natural or expected part of growing older. That shook me, because for years I had believed decline was inevitable. But what I learned is that our brains thrive on the very same principles our bodies do: good sleep, regular exercise, social interaction, and a diet full of colorful fruits, vegetables, and omega-3 rich foods like salmon or walnuts. I noticed a big change myself when I started treating brain health as seriously as heart health. My focus sharpened, I felt less foggy in the mornings, and I even began recalling names and little details faster. Every time I take my daily walk, read something new, or challenge myself with a crossword puzzle, I'm investing in my memory, and it pays off. Dementia risk can be lowered, and clarity can be maintained if we care for the brain as intentionally as we do the body. When I turned 60, I thought gyms were for the younger crowd. I figured strength training had passed me by. Then one day, a coach handed me a kettlebell and said, "Just try." At first, I wobbled, I sweated, and I questioned what on earth I was doing. But within 3 months, I was climbing stairs with ease, standing taller, and feeling more confident than I had in decades. Science has my back on this too. Researchers have shown again and again that people in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build muscle when they train regularly. It doesn't matter if you've never lifted a weight before, your muscles still respond to challenge. In fact, one study even found that heavy resistance training near retirement age helps people hold onto strength for years afterward. It turns out our bodies are far more adaptable than we give them credit for. And here's what I learned. Strength isn't about looking like a bodybuilder. It's about independence. It's about being able to lift a bag of groceries, stand up from a chair without struggling, or catch yourself if you stumble on uneven ground. I now see every set of push-ups, every balance exercise, every slow and steady Tai Chi movement as a way of investing in my freedom to live on my own terms. That's worth every bit of effort. I used to joke, my metabolism is broken. Like many of you, I thought it simply collapsed after my 30s, and that every pound I gained after 60 was just destiny. But then I came across a massive study that tracked people across different countries and different ages, and the findings were shocking. Our metabolism doesn't suddenly fall off a cliff at 30. It's steadier than most people think, only declining slowly and gradually much later in life. That discovery changed everything for me. I realized that if I was gaining weight, it wasn't because my body had betrayed me, it was because I wasn't giving it what it needed. I started eating more protein to protect my muscles, moving after meals instead of collapsing into a chair, and prioritizing my sleep. And you know what? My energy came back, and the extra pounds that used to creep on so easily began to level out. Metabolism is not destiny. It's influenced by our choices. Every step we take, every ounce of muscle we protect, every night of good sleep we prioritize, it all feeds the fire that keeps our bodies active. Aging doesn't lock us into weight gain. It simply makes the habits we choose even more important. My neighbor, George, picked up a guitar at 72. By 75, he was strumming at open mic nights. Watching him proved something powerful. Our brains can keep learning for life. The word scientists use for this is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself and build new pathways. And neuroplasticity doesn't disappear with age. It may take a little more repetition, and we may progress more slowly than we once did, but the ability to adapt is still there. In fact, learning new things, whether it's a language, a dance, or even brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand, literally creates new connections inside the brain. I've started challenging myself with small skills, and every time I succeed, I feel younger. It's not about being perfect. It's about reminding the brain it's still alive, still curious, still capable of change. And when you approach life with that mindset, it feels less like aging and more like evolving. When I first retired, I had whole days with nothing on the calendar. At first, I told myself it was freedom. But then my blood pressure rose, my energy dropped, and my world felt smaller. That's when I learned the hard way that loneliness is not just a feeling. It's a risk factor for disease. Research now shows that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of stroke, heart problems, and even early death. It raises stress hormones, damages sleep, and chips away at both mental and physical health. I thought I was just missing company, but what I was really missing was connection, and connection is as vital as food or exercise. The beautiful truth is that we can do something about it. Even a simple phone call with a friend, a walk with a neighbor, or joining a local class can shift the tide. Since making connection a priority, my days feel richer, my stress is lower, and I sleep better. I've come to see that community is medicine, and friendship is one of the greatest healers of all. So let's put this together. Memory loss is not destiny. Muscles can grow at any age. Metabolism isn't doomed to fail us. Our brains remain hungry to learn. And loneliness isn't harmless. It's a serious health risk that connection can heal. These aren't just myths I've read about. They are myths I've broken myself. And I know you can too. My challenge for you is simple. Pick just one of these myths and break it this week. Maybe it's trying a few chair squats. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's taking that after-dinner walk. Then come back and tell me in the comments, write muscle, memory, metabolism, learning, or connection, and share your win. If this message gave you a spark of hope, tap like, hit subscribe, and pass it along to someone you care about. And if you'd like me to film my 10-minute beginner strength routine with a Tai Chi warm-up, just write "take action" below and I'll make it happen. Together, we can thrive in our golden years.